Om Asatu Ma Sadgamaya Tamashu Ma Jyotir Gamaya Mrityur Ma Amritangamaya Aviravir Maedhi Rudro Yatte Dakshinang Mukham Te Namang Pahi Nityam Te Namang Pahi Nityam Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from darkness to light. Lead us from death to immortality. And evermore shine in our hearts with your resplendent face. Om, peace, peace, peace. We are very glad to have Swami Yogatmananda amongst us. The Swami is the head of our Providence Center, and we have, because before almost 7-8 years passed, it may be, when he came, and in between we had no opportunity to listen from him in this platform from here. It is, and he is now here. We got one day only today, so we are taking advantage of that. Swami, you know, is a very scholarly person, but makes his classes and lectures in a very sweet manner, with jokes and this and that, which makes it very remarkable and very remembering, and a big philosophy, but in a very nice way. And the Swami is here for more than 20 years in this country. And also he will be speaking more to give a retreat. From here he goes to San Diego, Santa Barbara, not San Diego, and he will be speaking on the 24th and 25th. On the 24th will be a retreat, 10:30 to 3 p.m. Who wants to join him there, it will be great. On 24th, Saturday, 10:30 a.m. it starts up to 3 p.m. and the retreat will be on the Prophet Khalil Gibran. And Sunday also he will be speaking in the Santa Barbara at 11 o'clock, Open Secret. Swami, this topic is Open Secret. And here we'll hear from him today this very interesting topic, let us be practical. It's a very important topic, because many spiritual people means something should be abnormal. Something will be queer in that person, no? Whereas he will walk differently, speak differently rather than other people. But this Vedanta is such a philosophy where they have no outside show. They will be like most normal, like more worldly as it were. They're very much concentrated on the work and exacting and this and that. Rather than the conventional idea, spirituality means little sloppy, little not looking at this and this. So I think this is my way of thinking, but we will hear from Swami Yogatmananda ji, and at the end of his talk, he'll have some question answer. You all can put him the question and he will respond to that question. So Swami Yogatmananda, we are very happy to have you here. Please, and come.
Many thanks, revered Sarvadevanandaji, for giving this wonderful introduction and telling so many nice things about me. It is good you please keep note of these things, all the nice things he said, because after you hear me, the opinion may change, you know. So it is my salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother, Swami Vivekananda, whom I consider to be most practical persons in our times. revered Sarvadevanandaji, our Sumanasanandaji, Mahayoganandaji, Arupeshananda, and Atmavidyanandaji sitting there. And then, yes, all Seva Prana and I forgot your name. Vidya Prana. Vidya Prana and our Brahmacharini, Jagadamba. Jagadhatri. Okay. Yes, very good. So, and all my dear friends who have assembled here, it is, he was telling, Sarvadevanandaji was telling that spiritual means something abnormal, people think. And what is abnormal, you know? Spiritual people are really practical. The others are impractical with the garb of practicality. See, let us be practical is the topic. Do we want to become practical or not? Yes, come on, say. No, you don't want to become practical? Oh, then the lecture is obviously not for you. Do anybody apart from him, does anybody say that I don't want to be practical? We all want to be practical. Yeah, and what is the meaning of practicality? Practicality means our goal is to be achieved in the practical sense, in the experiential way. And that is the meaning of practicality. If we are not...
I changed my mind.
Okay. Since it is your mind, you can change it, I remember one incident, myself and another Swami, I don't tell the name, but wonderful Swami, So we were traveling together, and then the attendant came and said, would you like something to drink? And then he said, no. I said, okay, give me some orange juice. Then he also thought, Hey, he called the attendant, hey, can I change my mind? It is, can I also have some orange juice? Because it is my mind, I think I can change it, isn't it? So your mind, you are changing very good. So, that is the practicality. As you can easily see, is it practical not to achieve our goal? It is not practical then. If we are doing something that is thought to be practical just because it is mundane, but it does not lead to our goal, then why call it practical? So, let us see, we all strive for the goal that is, may not be very clear in our brain, but we all in a way intuitively know that, and that is to get to the end of all suffering and have the highest unchanging, infinite bliss in our life. As Shankaracharya presents it, that it is Atyantika Dukkha Nivritti Paramananda Vaptischa. So, and he says that for that purpose alone, Sarve Vedantaha Arabhyante. Our goal is to attain to complete total cessation of misery and getting the ultimate, infinite and eternal happiness. This is what we actually want in life. And Vedanta is practical in the sense it tells us how to practically achieve this in our life. very practical. It is not just an idea or emotional effervescence that, oh, I like poets do that, They think of, some world somewhere where everybody will be eternally happy and there will be always merrymaking and dancing and that stuff. That is emotionalism. That is not practicality. Vedanta is very practical, and it leads us practically to this goal. So the goal should be properly understood in our life. Swami Vivekananda's one very beautiful book that I will refer to here is Practical Vedanta, a small book, but very rich. Of course, that applies to every saying of Swami Vivekananda, tremendously rich. And he begins there, right on the second page of the book, it is said that one must have a goal in life. So it is important that because as human beings, we are people, we want to act in such a way that there is some purpose that gets fulfilled by that action. Otherwise, it is just insanity, doing something for nothing, Why do you do it? I don't know. So it is, that is not the proper way, practical way of approaching. So first have an idea of destination where I want to go, and then properly guide your life to that goal. So it is thus very, very important to know the goal of life and then guide our lives in that direction. That is what you do when you drive. What do? You have GPS these days. The GPS, you have to put the destination first. Where you want to go. Our Yogananda brought me from airport to here today, so he put the destination, that here we want to go. If you do not know where to go, then what the GPS is going to do? It will not be able to guide you. It will not tell you anything. It will show the maps around you, that's all. But therefore, in life also, we have to first feel, what do I want to achieve in life? It is, as we saw just now, all of us want happiness in our life. Do you have any different opinion? Here anybody says, no, Swami, I have too much happiness, I want misery. I have not heard anybody saying like that. We all surely want happiness. Now the question is, we want happiness, we do everything to get happiness. We consciously do not do anything to become miserable. But do we get happiness by doing that? That is a good question. In United States, I learned this meaning of the good question. When I came from India 22 years ago, then I asked one student, she had just come to Brown University, and then, hey, where do you plan to live? Where do you plan to stay here? That's a good question. That is how her reply was. Means not that the question is good, means I don't have answer for it. That is the meaning of good question here. So that's a good question. It means I don't have an answer. So this is a new American meaning for me. I thought that she is appreciating my question. But that was not the idea. So whether do we get happiness or not, we do everything to get happiness. What do we get in life is misery that we don't want. We work to get happiness, and logically speaking, when we are working to get happiness, what should with the result, we should get happiness, but instead we are getting misery, suffering. We keep thinking that maybe to these few days, let them pass, then I will be happy. It is the young people, children and all, they feel, well, let me become 18 years old. Before that, all day I have to be under parents. The rule, I am not happy. Let me become 18 and then I will be so free and so happy. That fellow becomes 18, nothing much changes, It is the unhappiness still remains. No, let me get my bachelor's degree or whatever, then I will become happy. That also doesn't happen. Then thinks that, well, let me get a job or I'll do some business by which I will get lot of money. Then I will be very happy. A very common misunderstanding that lot of money means lot of happiness. It is completely untrue, friends. But yet, many, almost all people hold on to this misunderstanding that more money means more happiness. Actually, it could be reverse. I have found in so many examples in my life that there is actually no connection. Somebody can be very rich and miserable. Somebody can be not having much money and can be happiness-wise better off than a rich person. It is, if you want to, test it, I suggest you go to the Newport. How many of you have gone to Newport? I don't know, a very popular tourist destination in United States. Go to Newport in Rhode Island. And then in Newport Port, there are all those big, big mansions. Now these mansions, you can imagine, very rich people. One very big mansion was built by the owner of the railroad, one railroad company in America of that time, when railroad was, flourishing like anything. The budget of that company was same as the budget, the defense budget of the whole United States. So he was so rich. And when you look at the mansion, you can understand that he has built such a big mansion, a lot of money. Now, look at the history of that person's life, and then how people following him after in his successors, how miserable their life was. There was no dearth of money. But then you can easily see by that money cannot buy happiness. I have seen hundreds of people who have lot of money but still worried how to get more money. Yes, I am on the top now, but then somebody is likely to overtake me. So it is all these worries come with money. So it is not that they get what they want. Then even if one gets money, then I am not happy, feel that let me get a partner in life. Without that, how can there be happiness? So it is, and then we know the situation, I don't need to comment much upon that. So it is, almost everybody in the world would have been happy had that been the case. Doesn't happen. So let me get children, then that will be happy. No, it is like a good analogy for all these efforts is there is the horizon. If I reach the horizon, I will become happy. Let me run to get there. Are we practical? Just think, are we practical if we are just chasing to reach the horizon? We are not, friends. And therefore we should see that how to become practical. It is therefore, as I said in the beginning, Sri Ramakrishna was a very practical person. He told a very nice story that two friends went in a mango grove, and then there were mangoes on the trees. One of the friends was rather calculative, so he started counting the leaves and then statistically figuring out how many leaves are there in the whole mango grove. Another went to the owner, got befriended with him, and then started getting the nice ripe mangoes and eating them. Who was more practical, do you think? So Sri Ramakrishna says, the life is like that. You have come to eat mangoes. Do not waste life in counting the leaves. What is counting the leaves? You can call it science. It is counting the leaves. The purpose of life is to realize God. That is eating the mangoes. God, especially as we describe in Vedanta or in Hinduism, God is presented not as a being, somebody sitting somewhere in the heaven and managing the affairs of this world. It is Satchidananda, the existence itself. Consciousness or knowledge itself and bliss itself. So obviously, if we want bliss, what should we do? We should, if we are practical, we would go to the source of bliss, God. And then we will get happiness. It is very similar, friends. If you want to say, buy milk, where do you go? Do you go to the shoe shop? It will be impractical to go to a shop that sells shoes to get milk. So it is exactly like that. If you want to get happiness, let us go to the source of happiness. Isn't it very logical, very clear? Not only we are not practical, we are not logical also in our approach. It is, we call ourselves rational. Almost every so-called university fellow and learned person says that I am a very rational person. If you analyze, their thinking might be rational. That also I doubt. But behavior is surely not rational. It is, therefore, I prefer myself to be called not university learned, because if normally university learned means to have the ego that I am rational and logical. Most of them are not, because they do not see that they have to. Rationality will say that you go to the source of happiness. If you want happiness, it is very clear that we want happiness, and so now go to the source of happiness. Isn't it being rational? Yeah, so this is one very important thing, become rational. Then the question is it possible to get it? Many raise this doubt, this question. Realizing God, who has after all seen God, and how it is, can one be, experience that bliss, the source of bliss, the God, can it happen? Sri Ramakrishna again very practical. Yes, God can be seen if you want. What a great statement, friends, that God can be seen. It is not that it is for a few people only who fall from the skies. For them alone, this vision of God is possible. Sri Ramakrishna has shown that every single being can, if one wants, attain to that God realization and thus become happy. Because God is our reality. God is right within you. Again and again Sri Ramakrishna says that God is right within us. Why shall we not be able to realize God? It is only because of misunderstanding, because of complete misrepresentations, we miss this point that God actually can be seen, and it is actually the easiest thing one can do to become happy, to experience God. We do many difficult things, far more difficult things. But realizing God, no, it is not possible. It is very difficult. Only saints can realize God. Again, see how we misuse or we miss the logic. It is not that the saints realize God, but it is those who realize God get called saint, we put the cart before the horse and then say, it is, Are we practical? This question therefore gets asked to Sri Ramakrishna very often. Can one realize God in householder's life? In a non-monastic life, these days you know that the word term householder has many ramifications. What is exactly a householder? But what it means is somebody who has not given up home and hearth and taken this as the calling of life, renouncing everything that I want to strive for God realization. All others who are non-monastic can be in that category, we can put in that category. Now they ask, can we realize God? And you see, Sri Ramakrishna has never said no. He says, yes, why not? Why not? It is only you have to do some work for that. You have to apply certain means for that. For everything you have to apply the right means. So for this also you have to apply the right means. And what is the right means? Turn the direction of life, that hold on to God and do the work in the world. Isn't it very simple that a very simple solution that what is the meaning of being a householder? Means you have certain duties to perform, certain works are to be performed. Sure, do those, but keep mind on God. And why it appears difficult is because we are habituated to do exactly opposite of that. We do work for God and keep the mind in the worldly life, you see. The mind is with our relations, children, our bodily comforts. There we keep the mind and do work for God, as if God wants our work. God wants our mind, So that is how, if you have, I like this example, that suppose you have some savory thing, one savory item and one sweet item, and you have two children coming to you and you want to give them, And if you give the child who likes sweet, something that's savory item, and then one who likes the savory, you give sweet to that fellow, what happens? Both children are dissatisfied, and you lose your both, savory and sweet both. So that is what happens, friends, that we give work to God and mind to world. Only we have to just shift it, change it, and it will be so, automatically we will be able to hold on to God. I tell this incident, our practical incidents in life are great educators. Once, long back, when I used to be in Nagpur, our pump, that there was a well, and to pull the water up, there was a pump put there. And then when the supply in the tank is low, one would just press the electric button, and the motor will pull the water up. So that day somebody pressed the button, and then the motor was running. Water was not getting pumped up. And then I also saw that's what is happening. So we called some mechanic. And then that mechanic fixed it in a minute. I asked, what happened? What was the problem? No, the polarity got altered, therefore the motor was running, but in the opposite direction. And so the water was not getting pumped up. Our motor is also running like that, opposite direction. That what is to be given to the world, we are giving that to God, and what is to be given to God, we are giving that to world. No use, friends. See, the world doesn't know love at all. We put mind and love on the world, but the world doesn't have the sense to feel the love. It knows love only through work, because world understands work. How do we measure love in this world? What did you do for me? Isn't it? What did you do for me? Because that is how the world has that sense. Like a totally deaf person, even if a nice music is getting played, will not have the taste of it. He will only see the movements of the musician, like the Indian classical singers, when they sing, they may go like that. So by that person will, a deaf person will think of music. So similarly, the world doesn't have this sense to feel love. So why waste love on that? And God, what does it care about the work? It is the love that is most important. So Sri Ramakrishna has made this so simple that yes, you give love to God, work to the world. You can imagine, if a man says to wife, oh, I love you, but I will not do work no work. Then will that love last too long? Yeah, the wife will soon say, no, enough of love, go and do some work, you see. So, why? Because in the world, the work is important. And so it is this, it solves the problem. It is our misunderstanding that that creates this problem. In Patanjali's yoga aphorisms, you read, that how because of nations, the values get all upside down. Avidya, he defines avidya very nicely. What is it? That anitya, ashuchi, dukkha, anatmasu, nitya, shuchi, sukha, atmakhyati iti avidya. Avidya is this, whatever is actually evanescent, impermanent, that gets seen as permanent. That which is actually not at all pure or very impure, that we consider to be very pure. That which is actually going to bring misery, we think that that is the source of happiness. And that which is not really I, we call that as I. This is all happens because of the nishan, avidya. And that is why that which is totally impractical, we call that as practical. So that is how a spiritual person is practical. Because knows what is more important. The priorities are very clear, and therefore practically moves forward. Now in this practical movement towards God, one must see where I am, and accordingly chalk out the path to that destination. It is Swami Vivekananda's one lecture given, I think, here in Pasadena or Los Angeles, that the work and its secret. Please don't confuse it with the that one chapter in Karma Yoga book, which is titled as Secret of Work. Now, this lecture is different, and it tells about connecting the means to the end. That one has to connect the means to the end, so that then the end will be achieved, the goal will be achieved if you employ the proper means. So what one should see, what means are to be applied for that. And that is practicality. Oh, is it practical? Just see, that people feel some miracle will happen. We are rational and logical, but still we think some miracle will happen. Some person, this Swami or that Baba will keep hand on my head, and then I will go directly into Samadhi. Are we practical? No. It is sages and the scriptures tell us constantly, you have to keep on doing practice. And practice, very logical presentation of practice, that avoid that by which your bondage and misery increases, and do that by which you come closer to the source of happiness. That is called by Bhagavad Gita and Patanjali as well as Sri Ramakrishna, that Vairagya and Abhyasa. In Sri Ramakrishna's word, Vishaye Virag, Ishvare Anurag. That attraction for God and repulsion for the worldly enjoyment. These are the means. That is important told by all sages. So we have to employ those. Now, if we say, no, it is difficult because we don't try for it. We have very negative attitude. It is not at all practical to have the negative attitude. About anything, if you have negative attitude, you will not go to get it at all. There was a story long ago. It was published in Reader's Digest. I don't know whether Reader's Digest is published these days or not. It was during my college days. So that story told about how this negative attitude, one one man here in America was driving at night in a somewhat, lonely road, and at night the tire got flat. Now, nothing unusual. He was more or less, he knew how these things happen. So he immediately got down and started to took all those tools. And he realized he has not brought the jack to lift the car up. And without that, how can I then take out the wheel and change it? So he was wondering what to do, and at a distance he saw a light, somebody's house. So he thought that, well, that person must have a car. That person would have a jack also. So this thinking was okay, positive. Let me go and ask that person. But then, as he started, the negativity got set in. Well, that person may not be at home, who knows? And even if he is there, he will hesitate to give to a stranger the jack. Why will he give the jack to the stranger? He may not give. Well, if he says no, I will plead with him that this is the situation. I will try to give him some money for it, and so forth. He was thinking, but still if he says no, what can be done? Well, then I will say, okay, let your jack be with you, I don't care. And right at that time, he pressed the doorbell. And then one man came out, and as he comes out, this man tells him, I don't want your jack. So because of that negativity, you see, I don't want your jack. Why? That is what things were building up, So we think that, no, it is not for me. I cannot do that. We can do that. Let us have that faith. That is what Swami Yogatmananda says, that to have faith in oneself is the first step in a way. Without that, forget God realization. Even any big endeavor in life is not possible. That yes, I can do it. Please tell yourself, yes, I can do it. Say loudly, I can do it. Come on. Yeah, very good. I can do it. So, and then you will be able to do it. Right in the beginning, no, I will not think. I am like this and like that. And no, my dad also was like that. My mom. Yeah, all those that built up negativity should be taken out. That stand up, that you are on this. Our nature is divine. God is in me. Is God in us or not? Please tell clearly. Is God in you? Yes. Yeah, God is in each one of us. In fact, if God is not in something, then logically one can show that then God doesn't exist at all. God is in everything, in everyone. So what does it mean? God is in me. And then why will I not be able to realize God? I can realize God. One must have that conviction. That is practically a very important step. Let us have this conviction. Yes, I can realize God. But we have to take proper steps. It is not something that we will be able to do just by emotionally thinking. That is called daydreaming, not practical. So, like if you have, say, some 3-story house, and then as a human being, you cannot really jump to the terrace of that or roof of that house. If you want to go there, yes, there is way. There are the staircases there. You can go step by step and reach there. That is practical. I will jump. No, you are not that Hanuman, or you have to go according to your capability. It is very important that to see one's capability. That yes, I can go, but I will have to go step by step. And that is also there, the scriptures tell, yes, one can go, one should go step by step. There is the chartered course for that. Yes, you can control your mind gradually. As Bhagavad Gita says very nicely, Shanai Shanai Uparamed Buddhya Dhriti Grihitaya. That beautiful verse, gradually. Don't be in a rush. That will just spoil the work. Be practical. We have to be practical. That yes, but I can take steps, and then I will reach there. It is very important. Take steps. So, do it, for some time. Try your best and so forth. Don't brood that I had done so many bad things in life. Now what is the point, I have already become old. Many come and tell me, again, we are so irrational. Have a lot of ego of being rational. No, in this life I cannot get it. Are you sure in this life you cannot realize God? Next life I will try. What will happen next life? Are you sure? Why it is give me one single reason that you cannot get it in this life. There is no reason, so many years I have wasted doing all these nonsensical things. Okay, Sri Ramakrishna gave a very beautiful argument for that. That if a room was in dark for 1,000 years, then if you light a lamp, does it take 1,000 years for the darkness to go away from there? This instant it will happen. No, it is because it is the matter of just getting rid of this ignorance. Suppose some people use reading glasses and then they push on their head, forehead like that. And then how long will that person take to find those reading glasses? Nothing. But on whatever instant the fellow puts hand on the forehead or somebody tells it is right on your forehead, that's it. Can you say like that? It is such an irrational idea that, I did not find it in 1 hour, so I am not going to find in another hour. Completely wrong idea. Then you will not learn anything in life because you have not learned earlier, so you will not learn later. So there's no point in going from one grade to next grade. It is because this is very important to see that where we are, from there we have to start. And then go gradually to the next steps. And then you will see that, yes, you are getting there. One important thing to be practical here, there are so many points that are coming to my mind. What happens, when the lecture, the time is coming to close, then I start remembering many things to tell. Anyway, no, please don't get scared. I am not going to stretch too much. It is. So, there you will see that we feel that no, it is not right for me. to get God realization. A very funny idea then, but if I get God realization, what will happen to the world? What will happen to the world? It is what is going to happen? Suppose you don't realize God. Is that going to make the world better anyway? There is no meaning there. But we bring up these ideas that we have to put in proper efforts, go step by step. One idea that I wanted to specifically mention is many think that they are non-dualist and therefore they need not practice devotion. Where did they learn this idea? I don't know. The greatest non-dualists like Shankaracharya and Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother, where would you find more non-dualist people? They were so full of devotion. But somehow people have this funny notion that no, I believe in non-dualism. I believe in God that is everywhere. I don't like God with form. I like the formless. This is just deluding ourselves and becoming impractical. It is. It doesn't depend on what I like and what I don't like. Where do you stand? In Bhagavad Gita, this kind of illusion that we harbor is very widespread. Even Arjuna had this idea. And therefore he asked a pointed question. In the beginning of the 12th chapter, you will read that, oh Lord, who are your more dear devotees? Those who worship you in this form, or those who transcend everything and worship your all-pervading nature? And Lord sees that there is the fellow needs to concentrate and worship the form, but is getting drawn by this attraction of the formless. Now, therefore, Lord says, well, it is, both are good, but he begins by telling first that those who worship me, they are very close to me, they are very dear to me, and those who worship the formless and all-pervading aspect, they are myself. So, but then he proceeds further, saying that avyakta hi gatir dukkham dehavadbhiravapyate. A big statement here that those who identify themselves with body, for them the thinking of formless is an impossibility. It is, Swami Yogatmananda says, what do you mean by formless? Most people will think of the sky. Is sky formless? It has a form. You think of the ocean. It has a form. It is our anthropomorphic necessity by becoming, identified with body, that we cannot think without form. Try to feel this, So, that being the necessary condition imposed on us, let us, what is wrong to begin with form? Swami Yogatmananda says that because I was vehemently opposing this worship of form with form, worshipping God with form, I had to get all my spiritual lessons by sitting at the feet of that person who practically achieved everything by worshipping the God with form. So it is, we have that attitude about, it is for the lower aspirants. For them it is worshipping form and all that. I am what? I am of a very higher level. It is, we are at such a lower level that we do not even understand that we are at lower level. It is. So we should see where we are. In GPS, what? You put your that destination, but GPS guides you from where you are. Not from somewhere where you are not. So where you are, from there we have to start, It is, if we don't start from where we are, is there a possibility for us to reach the goal? No, we have to start from where we are. Second such funny idea that I have seen, that, I know how to, read the scriptures. I have read a lot. What is the need of Guru? So many people say that, what's the need of Guru? Yatishwaranandji says, why do these people send their children to school? I don't know. They should say that there's no need to send the children to school because no need for Guru, Even for, even the Sri Ramakrishna used to say, if somebody wants to learn the art of thieving, has to go to a Guru to learn that also. It is, but we somehow feel for spiritual life, I don't need Guru. Again, sign of being impractical, that you won't get it. So many saints, sages have said that that without Guru you cannot get knowledge. We don't believe them, and we think we are very wise. Sri Ramakrishna therefore showed that he had Gurus. And we think that we are superior to Sri Ramakrishna. We don't need Guru. Just think how stupid we are. It is. So, therefore, we should be practical in our approach. That, okay, I will have Guru. In fact, that is the spiritual GPS system, Guru positioning system. So, GPS. So it works like that. So one should be very practical in this respect. So I am looking at the clock, and then almost the time is finished. But still, if you have any burning question, you can give voice to it. Don't expect that I will guess the question by your silence, Anybody has question? Oh.
Hi Maharaj, thank you.
Namaskar.
Namaskar. My name is Tejas, and my question is, you said we shouldn't rush because that will spoil the results. And
please, I did not get these last 2-3 words.
You said we shouldn't rush because that will spoil.
Yeah.
But we should also make effort. I feel like I have a tendency, if I don't rush, to get lazy. Do you have any advice to not rush but not get lazy?
Yeah, Sri Ramakrishna gave the advice, that Sri Ramakrishna was singing a Mirabai's song. That in that song comes, oh Hari se lagi rayo re bhai, tera banat banat ban jai. That, well, you hold on to God and gradually you will realize the Lord. But the great psychologist that Sri Ramakrishna was, he understood that what the devotees are thinking. They think that the concerted efforts may not be needed, a little bit here and there I will do. That will not. Sri Ramakrishna immediately says, hey, what this banata? Gradually, no, there should be that enthusiasm now. Don't rush. but start doing right now. Do not procrastinate later on, and I am too young now, let me, another 20 years and then I will look into it. No, that will spoil the things. So do it right in the right earnest. One must have that urgency, feeling of urgency. Let us do it now. No time to waste. We are running out of time. Some time back, I had given a talk on this theme. We are running out of time. We should feel that the time is just running out. So do it now. It is tell yourself now or never. So do that. Yeah, thank you. Any other question? Oh, Balkrishna has a question.
Swami, I'm not trying to stretch your analogy, but you said give love to God and work to the world.
Yeah.
But when we say give love to God, we are trying to express. So there is an action involved in expressing the love.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to understand the work versus the expressing the love part.
Expression of love and love are not exactly same thing. The expressions can be different. That, there could be expressions in a stage show. Some lady will show, because that is how her role is, to make such actions to love the little child. That yes, oh, and the director has told you have to kiss the child 4 times and then hug her to so many times and all that. Now actions are there. Is there love? There is no love. She knows that that is not her child also. And just a 2 hours show and then that's all. So the action does not necessarily show love. And many times a particular action does not need to be, taken as the criterion for love. Love cares. Whatever you love, then you care. Whatever you love, you serve. So those actions like let us serve God, and then let us serve God in all different beings who need it. So that is the service of the God in needy people. We are not advocating that ordinary altruism or philanthropy. This is worshipping God in the forms that are asking for that. As Bhagavad Gita says in the 18th chapter, that yata pravrittir bhutanam yena sarvamidam tatam swakarmana tam abhyarcha siddhim vindanti manavaha. So that by worshipping, that your love or devotion will find expression in action. That is very correct. But action alone doesn't necessarily mean that. Yeah, thank you. Any other question? Nobody seems to have question. So I conclude by again saluting revered Sarvadevanand Maharaj for giving me the opportunity to come here and also to think loudly. My lectures are just thinking aloud, You see, I don't prepare anything as such. So it is. So just to meditate on this beautiful theme. And I feel so happy to come to this wonderful place after a long time. time. And my thanks to you all for attending this. He was telling me that, oh, not many 7-8 people come. There are multiples of 7-8, you know. Okay. Online, yeah. There are some online as well, yeah, okay. 200, okay. Okay. 200, okay. Yeah, very good. So, I conclude it here. All the best. Bye.
Pranams to revered Swami Yogatmananda Ji Maharaj. Very nicely, we forgot actually the time that it is more than 1 hour we have already passed, and never felt boring. And how nicely, in a witty manner, smilingly he was trying to prove that how impractical we are in our day-to-day life, citing so many examples, quoting Master, Mother, Swamiji, scriptures, Gita. But everyone has a scope. That also he reminded that we should start now itself if we are practical. So we should not remain any longer impractical. Let us be practical from right now. Pranams to Maharaj. Thanks for your wonderful, enriching, enlightening, brainstorming discussion. So smilingly giving all bitter truths in our life, how you waste our time in this life. But we also have this faith that Shani Uparamit, as said by Bhagavan Sri Krishna in the Gita. Pranams to you, Maharaj. Please do come again, as revered Sarvadevanji was telling that we are not having you for a longer time.
You are fortunate, you know.
So, please do come again. Pranams.
Also, again, to remind you all that Swamiji will be available for a retreat in Santa Barbara on this Saturday and Sunday. Saturday retreat, Sunday lecture, and also you have a talk in San Diego on Tuesday. So these are the scopes are there. You can go to our website and find the dates. Thank you for all Swamiji, and thank all of you to come here. And this evening, it's a enjoyable evening, and he makes it. That's why he said that he makes everything very joyful and a little bit easy to penetrate into the purpose of life. So thank you, Swami, for your wonderful gift presentation. Jai Ma, Jai Ma.
Okay. They are actually joyful things.
Okay. But when we speak, people go away.
Dashamastama Chaturdashi.